Good evening, Darklings. Tonight on the Paranormal 60 News, the stories you think you know are about to get a lot stranger. Is the Amityville horror house still hiding its dark demonic secrets? 50 years later, locals claim its chilling energy hasn't left, but neither have the skeptics. And across the pond, the quiet streets of Enfield are alive with ghost hunters, but it's not the poltergeist that's causing chaos, it's the living. Then we dive into a story that's both bizarre and unsettling. Could a common sleep aid be the missing link in claims of demonic possession? New revelations about an infamous trial have us questioning what's truly real and what's not. But the waters of Loch Ness aren't staying still either. A rediscovery of the most famous image of Nessie has experts and believers looking twice. And deep in the forests, Bigfoot is back with fresh sightings in Ohio and South Carolina, raising one question: is the legendary creature hiding in plain sight? From ghosts to Sasquatch, possession to the paranormal, we've got it all covered. Buckle up, Darklings, because this isn't just the news, it's the Paranormal 60 News. Good evening, Darklings, and welcome. I know there's been a little confusion this week. Monday, I was out filming the new project with Cindy Keza and Shane Pittman and was unable to do the show live Monday. The lovely ladies of the Monsters Lounge did their podcast Monday night, and I was set to join you last night. That is until my flights were delayed and kept me from being able to land in any time that I could actually do the show live. But we're here tonight. That's the important thing. And I will be back Friday with another brand new episode to do a little make good for what you missed out on Monday and Tuesday. We got a great show lined up for you, so I hope that you'll tune in and check that out. Before we begin, I do want to take just a moment to acknowledge the wildfires that are raging out of control by the Pacific Palisades in California. I think the last tally I saw was around 11,600 acres have been destroyed. Thousands have been forced from their homes. 5 deaths at this point are being attributed to the fire, and it doesn't show stops or signs of stopping, rather. It's the wind out there right now. They're having a windstorm on top of it, which is pushing the fire further and further into LA County. So there are a lot of our Darklings around the California and Los Angeles area that have been forced to evacuate their homes, may have lost their homes, may have lost their work. And I just want you to know that we are thinking of you. And if everybody could just do me a favor, let's just take a moment. We're going to do a quick intention experiment. All right. It's been a while since we've done one of these, but this seems like the perfect time. So I want all of you to just, if you're driving, don't do this. But if you're just listening and you're sitting safely in the comfort of your own home or at your office desk, with your eyes closed, just start to imagine the state of California. I want you to see the state. And if it helps you by looking at a map of the state of California, go ahead and do that. Now, I want you to imagine storm clouds gathering, thick storm clouds filled with rain. And I want you to just imagine the most quenching rain coming down, helping the firefighters in this battle to curb this fire as it continues to hammer California. Just picture the skies opening, the clouds releasing, the water coming down. And I want you to think of it this way. I want it to be a safe, solid rain that won't cause any more damage. It is there simply to help stop the fires. Just imagine, see the rain coming down, the fire going out, smoke, and you just see it sating the fire and quenching that fire. And And as you see the fire finally snuffed out, I want you to just see the rain beginning to slowly ease up, the winds to back off and slow down, and just see that the fire is gone. And all that's left behind is the smoky debris, but that the fire has been stopped. Just focus on that for just a few moments, please. Focus so much that you can almost smell that ozone, that smell of rain in the air. You can hear the roll of the thunder, the flashes of lightning from the sky as the rain pours down over California. Let's just hope and pray that the universe is listening, that Gaia is working in perfect concert with us and knows what needs to be done so that we can help stop this fire. I know it sounds ridiculous to some of you. Oh, yeah, Dave, a bunch of goofballs listening to an internet podcast. Boy, we've got some kind of magic power. I've been doing this now 19 years. And over the 19 years, we've done intention experiments for fire, for droughts, for massive snowstorms, things. And whether you call it coincidence, synchronicity, or just really good timing, things have happened that have helped to stop a lot of these things in their place. Because like the power of prayer, I believe that when we come together and put out an intention with good thought in mind, that we can change things. Even subtle things like helping the rains to release. Well, Dave, that sounds ridiculous. This was something they used to do on Coast to Coast AM until they realized that sometimes the intention experiments worked a little too well, and it began causing mudslides and causing other problems. That's why I said, let's focus on rain coming in, putting out that fire, quenching the earth, and then backing off. I think the one key element people miss to The Secret, for those of you that remember when The Secret was all the rage and everybody was buying the book and reading it, and they tell you how to intend and manifest. I want a parking spot by the front row. I want this, I want that. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. But what I've found that has worked extremely well for me over the years is that I take it beyond just what I want. I don't just see a parking spot. I see myself pulling into that parking spot and walking into the store that's right there by the door, right? I see the end result, not just part of what I want. And I believe that when we focus our intention and we set forth to manifest, what we need to see is not just the rain, but the rain doing its job, the fires going out, and then the rain to stop and pull back before any more damage can be done. And then seeing the aftermath with everything snuffed out, the firemen are able to relax, families are able to breathe a little deeper and slower now, and hopefully we will see an end to this wildfire before it does much more damage. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It is the news. We've got a lot to discuss, and it wouldn't be a news night without our intrepid news team. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the paranormal detective, Greg Lawson. Good evening, Greg.
Hey, old buddy.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. It's a little cold down here in Texas. We got plenty of rain. Wish we could share that with my California friends out there.
Now, that's something we need to keep in mind as well. I just read the news and had reached out to Chachi earlier today. I see that parts of Texas are due for another really nasty winter weather advisory, and your state is not prepared for those. I know it affected a lot of you the last time, what was it, 2-3 years ago, when that cold snap and snow came in and did so much damage to so many places.
Yeah. And we're not really ready for it, but it happens so infrequently. It's those guys up there that have the purse strings have to figure out, do we spend the money on it? And then it just sits there for 5 years and doesn't do anything, or not. And so
it's tough.
I want to say, my county has like something like, 4 or 5, trucks that can spread sand.
Oh.
That's about
That's
it.
a start.
for the whole county. Yeah. Because we don't do the, the salt thing. And they have some sort of chemical. I noticed that they sprayed on the roads on I-35 day before yesterday and yesterday. But yeah, so we'll be all right.
Folks, I don't know if you know this, but aside from being a public speaker, aside from being former law enforcement and former military, and aside from being one of the key members of the Paranormal 60 news crew, Mr. Greg Lawson is also the author of the book Messages from Mothman, Interpretations of Premonitions and Other Paranormal Experiences. That book is out and available right now. He also authored Diaries of a Paranormalist, Encounters with Death, written by Greg Lawson, and that book also available. And of course, my favorite of all of the books that he's ever written, Roswell, the After Action Report, with a foreword by Dave Schroeder and written by Greg Lawson. All three of the books are out, plus his other stories that he's written and books that he's contributed to. You can find that on today's show link. Just follow Greg's link, and it will take you so that you can find all of his books. Greg, what are you drinking tonight?
You're a very kind man, Dave Schrader. I'm going to have something that I'm going to extend to you. A little Love Street. Oh, you can't see it. Anyway, it's Love Street. Carbach Brewing Company out of Fredericksburg, Texas.
So is that one of those? Is it like a beer or is it like a vodka drink?
It's a Love Street blonde, my friend.
Oh, so it's
speaking of blondes.
Yeah, speaking of Love Street blondes, there she is, the one, the only, muted on her microphone, Sweet Tea. Let's make sure she unmutes. There we go. Great.
Yeah, she's good.
Hi.
Sweet Tea, welcome back to the program.
Hey, when I get my book out there, are you going to promote it as much as you promote Greg's book?
Yeah. As soon as you get your book out there, and it's going to be a doozy, folks. I've read a few chapters. What are you drinking tonight, Sweet Tea?
Listen, it's been a long night. I just got some wine. It's fine, whatever.
Let's see that fancy glass. Where did you get that?
Listen, one of my favorite people of all times, it got me this at the thrift store, my favorite place.
Well, look, I am really celebrating tonight. I've got what's known as a cup of Baileys with a splash of hot cocoa and ice. I'm a confusing fella.
Ice.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't like my hot chocolate hot. I like it lukewarm or cold, but I do love my Baileys in a glass and then
Is
in my
that
mouth.
just chocolate milk?
Basically is what it comes down to. Yeah, but with whiskey in it. Irish whiskey.
Oh,
that makes it
great.
more manly. Yeah. You'll notice I'm even wearing my Irish green sweater again so that I can.
Delightful.
It looks like just dishwater. Like you got dishwater in there.
What you might need to boil your water if your water is of this milky brown yoo-hoo consistency, Greg.
Are you?
I
only
forgot. I
eating
also have a shot of bourbon here just to get myself ahead because I know this is going to be a rough night tonight. It's going to be a rough night, Dave.
Why? Because you have 3 stories to read.
Hey,
you just found out.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Glad I could get those to you. So listen, this is kind of an interesting story that popped up this week, as a matter of fact. 50 years later, is the Amityville horror house still haunted? I know that's a question that's asked all the time. Dave, the Holzer files, why don't you guys go to the Amityville horror house? Dr. Hans Holzer investigated there. Dave, you're working behind the scenes on Ghost Adventures. Why don't you get them into the Amityville horror house? Dave, you're doing the Ghosts of Devil's Perch in Butte. Why don't you just leave there and go to the Amityville horror house? Yeah, they don't allow it. I guess when you buy the house, you agree not to turn it into a museum. You agree to not turn it into a bed and breakfast. It can't be any kind of business, and they don't allow you to film. I guess you could film inside the house, but not outside the house. So that's my understanding, but it's never really kind of worked or gelled, and no amount of money. And trust me, I know how much has been thrown at the owners to try to help aid in allowing us in to film the house, and they just won't allow it.
I bet.
So that's why.
I bet Christopher could get in there.
Christopher Lutz?
Yep.
Nope, I don't think he is. I don't think he has. Has he gotten back in?
No, I mean, if he wanted to, I bet he could work it.
Well, he's pretty shifty. I'm sure he could pop a window and climb in. He's got some ninja skills.
He's got some skills.
Yeah. Well, half a century has passed, believe it or not, since the gruesome murders that took place at 112 Ocean Avenue, better known as the Amityville Horror House. Yet its reputation as one of the most haunted houses in the world continues to stir debate and chills. For those that have been living in a rock garden, I don't know,
Yes, I live in a rock garden.
maybe in a cave. Maybe you've lived in Argentina where you only talk to pygmies, so you've never heard this story. Let me give you a little background. It was November of 1974. Ronald DeFeo Jr., known as Butch, shocked the nation when he confessed to killing 6 members of his own family while they slept in their beds. His defense? He claimed voices in the house told him to do it. Just over a year later, the Lutz family moved in, hoping to turn the page on the home's dark past. What followed has become the stuff of legend. The Lutzes lasted only 28 days before fleeing the house, leaving furniture, belongings, and their peace of mind behind. In their short stay, they reported a series of terrifying events: green slime dripping from the walls, a mysterious room that wasn't on the blueprints, shadowy figures, and a glowing-eyed, pig-like creature named Jody. And that would stare at them through the windows of the second floor. There you go. So it wasn't just some creepy pig hanging around outside with a little eye shine. This sucker was hovering outside their window, peeking in. At least that's part of the legend and lore that goes along with this. The most unnerving claim, though, George Lutz, the family patriarch, said he would wake up every night at 3:15 a.m., the exact time that the murders occurred. The story catapulted to global fame with the 1977 book, The Amityville Horror, and its subsequent movie adaptations. While skeptics dismissed the events as a hoax concocted for profit, others, including paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, insisted that the house was a hotbed of demonic activity. Today, the current owners report no supernatural happenings and have taken measures to distance themselves from the home's dark legacy, including changing its iconic quarter moon windows. But that hasn't stopped curious visitors and dedicated paranormal investigators from lingering outside, hoping for a glimpse of the otherworldly. Paranormal experts argue that while the house may seem dormant now, that kind of energy associated with a traumatic history doesn't just disappear. Could the entities that terrorize the Lutz family still be lying in wait, dormant but not gone? Locals claim that the area exudes an unsettling vibe, with many describing it as dark and heavy in and around the house. The Amityville house remains an icon of both the paranormal and pop culture, inspiring countless books, movies, and theories. So is it still haunted, or has time silenced the spirits? One thing is certain: the story continues to haunt the imagination of believers and skeptics alike. So whether you view it as a chilling cautionary tale or a case of overactive imaginations, the Amityville Horror endures, proving that some stories refuse to rest in peace. And this story, obviously, Greg, you and I are friends with Christopher Lutz, Christopher Quarantino, the youngest boy from the Lutz family. And we've heard his side of the story, his brother Daniel, and he both corroborate the fact that they believe that the haunting began with their family and the work that George Lutz, the patriarch, was doing.
Right.
He was doing transcendental meditation while taking drugs. And instead of, I guess, during transcendental meditation, you call in spirits, powerful, good spirits to make effective life changes and things for you. He was calling in darker spirits, darker energies. Right. And that is according to both of the sons, Daniel and Chris. So it's not a surprise that when they left, the hauntings seemed to stop. There's never been a part where it's the DeFeo family haunting the house. They don't believe that. Although there is one photograph that was found years after the investigation of what appears to be one of the young DeFeo boys leaning out of a doorway, looking down the stairs. Some claim, and it is from the investigation, some claim it is actually one of the investigators. But there is an uncanny resemblance to the young boy that was killed in the house. But that's it. When Ryan Reynolds' version of the Amityville Horror movie came out, I took offense to it. I think a lot of people in the paranormal field took offense to it. If you're just watching it as a pure entertainment value, which most people do, I'm sure it doesn't impact you the same way. But they really kind of turned the haunting and the demonic aspect to be the family, the DeFeos that had been murdered there, which really is kind of it's just not proper. Those are real people. You didn't make up, you didn't say that there was a family in between named the Schraders that lived there and they went bonkers and now it's their spirits. You're using a real family that lost their lives in a tragic way and turning them into monsters for that version of the movie, which is really kind of sad and disparaging. And I know it really upset Christopher Lutz.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Hollywood would take a real story like that and then really fiction it up, because that was a long stretch, right? Because there's no interviews, there's no legitimate investigation, anything that came forward and said this was that family. This is just a complete, fiction. Other people could say the whole thing was fiction to begin with, it's just made up or whatever, but this was that extra step, and it's unfortunate that they did that.
Agreed. What do you guys,
his whole family has been through, man, they, you know better than I do. They've been through so much.
Yeah.
Just come on.
Chris, I mean, that I've led many panels with Chris because he was comfortable and trusted me and allowed me to kind of be the moderator for panels at some of the live events. And at one point, I'd even encouraged him maybe not to do it anymore. And I know he stepped away for quite a while because even as an adult, you could still see the PTSD on his face from dealing with it. He would sometimes get up out of his chair and stand behind the chair and rest on it. It just so unsettled. I mean, he and his brother were constantly in fistfights with people at school and growing up because people would be putting down his mother, who he loved very much. And they're fakes, they're frauds, they're this, they're that. And it really caused a lot of strife and tension for them. And, even when he changed his name back to his last name of Quarantino, people in the Army found out that he was one of the Amityville kids and ended up, he never said it specifically, but I always got the impression they kind of forced him to watch the Amityville Horror with him. And that was the first time he ever watched it. And it was really disturbing because, again, he said that. And then he sat down to read the book, I think only about 10 years ago. And he called his mom, and this is shortly before his mom died. And he's like, how did you let this book come out? I mean, he equates it to, Dave, it's like somebody gets your photo album and then writes a book about the photos in the photo album without having any context or any knowledge of the people or the stories. And he goes, so yeah, things I could recognize, sure, but they were so grossly distorted and changed. And it was a rough time for all of the Lutzes.
The credibility that he has for not coming forward and just saying crazy stuff and being a millionaire overnight. He would be a millionaire overnight. He could just come forward, just rattle off a bunch of crazy stuff. Hollywood pick it up, run with it, and he doesn't do that. And that shows you how much it did affect him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tragic. So the Amityville house still in the news. How do you guys feel about this? And I've vacillated through the years. You buy the most famous haunted house. I think arguably that is the most famous haunted house on earth, right? At least in the United States. Maybe there's places, Enfield, I know we're going to talk about that, but this seems to be when you talk haunted house, the first thing that pops to people's mind is Amityville.
Right. Books, movies, everyone knows. You say Amityville, you think that house.
Right. Now, do you feel though that, it's become more than just that house? It's become a lexicon, part of pop culture. Mm-hmm. Do you really get upset about people showing up outside and taking photographs outside your home? I mean, it's got to be a pain in the ass for the rest of the neighborhood. They get irritated and don't like it.
How do you not know that's going to happen? How do you not know? How I've got to imagine that at this point, the house's price is higher because of the notoriety,
No,
really.
No, they actually tried to sell it years back. I think they were asking like 1.2 million, and I think they ended up getting it was like around 875,000. They couldn't get what they were asking for the house because I think people don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
You can buy lots of houses with that price. Like,
and they're in an HOA, right? Is it a gated HOA or is it just
No, I don't think it's gated because you can, I mean, just drive down the street and you can get out of the car. It's what's also unsettling and weird about it is to show you how Hollywoodized their story is. When I tell you, and I mentioned the Amityville house, I think most of you picture that house, that lonely house up on the hill, surrounded by woods, backed up to the lake with the boathouse back there. It's like any suburban house. There's a sidewalk about 8 to 9 feet away from the front door. Just a little swatch of grass between there and the front door, and then a little easement part of grass between the other side of the sidewalk and the street. We literally walked up upon the house, and I could have just picked up the newspaper and tossed it barely, and I would have hit the front door. So that
at one point, the house did look exactly like what we picture when we hear Amityville horror, correct?
Well, the house looks exactly the same. They've just changed the eye windows. I think now they're 2 squares.
Right.
The house looks identical because it's a Dutch colonial, but
right.
The concept of it being up alone on the hill, but it's never been that. Even when the DeFeos lived there, they were right next door to neighbors. The one side is very close. There may be, I'm trying to remember, maybe 12 feet away from the next house. And on the other side, I think they have a driveway, a parcel of property, and then the house. So there's a little bit more distance, but there's no isolation to this place. So the house is exactly as you picture it from the movies. The yard and how far it's spaced away is not. But that's an interesting tell as well, because Greg, and I wanted to ask you about this, being in law enforcement, being in military, you know how loud a gun is. How did this man move from room to room, murdering people in their beds, and only one of the entire family appeared to have defensive wounds, like they woke up and put their hand up? And I think that was his one sister. There's I think a bullet hole through her hand and into her face or something. How do you move through an entire house, killing somebody at close range when they're sharing a bedroom and the walls are thin? How is that even possible? That seems supernatural to me.
I don't think anybody's been able to explain that. You know, there's a whole lot of books written on that side of the mystery. And the police weren't able to explain that either, because it doesn't make a lot of sense. You know, when we get calls all the time of shots fired, and we go and we look, and it's people outside doing whatever they're doing. And once a gunshot fires inside, neighbors may hear something, but it could very well sound like somebody hitting a hammer, something different than a gunshot, or it sounds like a gunshot, and they'll go, "Hey, that sounds like a gunshot." But anyway, give me some more meatballs, you know, and then they don't do anything. Yeah, meatballs. That's what typically
gun. It sounds like a car backfiring. No, it did happen at 3:25 in the morning when he assassinated his entire family. So there is that element to it. But again, if you're sound asleep in your home, and you know, do you hear the popping of a gun a few doors over? You know, I don't know how that all works. But the things that are fascinating to me is if it just was with the DeFeo family or with the Lutz family, I would say, you know, that's interesting in itself. But the fact that there were police officers, there were reporters that visited. As a matter of fact, I did an entire episode. If you scroll back through our history here, folks, on the channel, you'll see an old episode I did back in the day where I did a roundtable discussion with one of the reporters and, you know, other people that have actually been in the house since. And, you know, these people witness things. So it supersedes the claims of the Lutz family, because other people did witness. And even if you just remove the Warrens and Hans Holzer, there were enough other people that witnessed and experienced things there that make it seem like it's more than just the Lutz family trying to cash in. I don't know. That's my take on it. I could be wrong, but let's do this. We're going to take a quick break. We got a lot more stories to cover. As a matter of fact, our next trip is out to Enfield in England, another notorious haunting. Why is that back in the news? Stay tuned to find out right after this.
Did you know that radio just got a little extraterrestrial? That's right, Dave Schrader is back on radio with the Paranormal 360 every Sunday evening, 7 to 9 p.m. Central on WCCO AM 830, an Odyssey station. Just download the Odyssey app and look for the WCCO logo, follow the station, and listen live. That's the Paranormal 360 on WCCO AM 830, an Odyssey station.
All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here with us this evening. It is news night. I'm Dave, your anchor. Across from me, the one and only paranormal detective, Greg Lawson. And below us, the pale blonde ale that is Sweet Tea.
Hello.
Yeah, you like that? All right, Gregory, if I can call you that.
Yeah.
Your story is next.
I'm going to go ahead and get ahead of this one.
Oh, sure. I guess you could have drank that during the break, but sure. Yeah, now's a good time as ever.
Well, it is the Paranormal 120. So
okay.
Yeah.
Let's go over to jolly old England, shall we?
Dun 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 dun.
Nice.
Enfield poltergeist problem, the haunting that refuses to rest. How do you like that title? Yeah. It's been over 40 years since the Hodgson's family reported a terrifying poltergeist in their modest council house in Enfield, North London. Back in the late 1970s, the family story captured the world's imagination. The two youngest daughters, Janet and Margaret, remember those two? They claimed that they were targets of a relentless spirit. Chairs were reportedly thrown across rooms, furniture moved on their own, and Janet herself was said to levitate off her bed.
Good for her.
Yeah, perhaps the most chilling detail, an alleged voice of the poltergeist, a gravelly, sinister tone, seemed to emanate from Janet, who was just 11 years old at the time. The voice claimed to be a man named Bill Wilkins, who had died in the house years earlier. Janet's vocal cords were examined by experts who couldn't explain how she could produce such sounds. The Enfield case became one of the most well-documented hauntings in history, investigated by police, journalists, and famed paranormal researchers Maurice Grasset and Guy Lyon Playfair. How you like that one, huh?
Maurice Gross, yeah.
Yeah.
Gross.
It's
Sure.
French.
Just let him have it. Just let him have it.
Oh, he's at it.
Skeptics dismiss the events as pranks by attention-seeking children, but the sheer number of witnesses, that would be dozens, including a police officer who swore she saw a chair move on its own, keeps believers convinced. Fast forward to today, and the Enfield poltergeist continues to draw fascination, thanks in part to the portrayal in what? The Conjuring 2. The house, however, is no museum or tourist attraction. It's a private residence. But that hasn't stopped paranormal enthusiasts from treating it like a bucket list destination. Residents in the neighborhood say they're tired of the constant disruptions. Fans of the story often knock on doors, take photos, and even try to sneak into the backyards of the infamous house. One neighbor shared their frustration. People act like this is some kind of horror amusement park, but real families live here. We have to explain the same story over and over to strangers who think it's okay to peer into our windows. The current occupants of the house have kept a low profile, but they've stated that they've experienced no paranormal activity. That hasn't stopped the curious from flocking to the area, armed with ghost hunting gadgets in hopes of capturing something supernatural. Despite the nuisance to locals, the story of the Enfield poltergeist remains one of the most compelling in paranormal history. For the residents of Enfield, the real haunting may not be the ghost, but the tourist who won't let the story rest. So, if you're thinking about visiting, remember, ghosts might not knock back, but neighbors certainly will. Back to you, Dave.
Aaron Duff brings up an interesting point. Places aren't haunted, it's the people. And that could explain why the Enfield poltergeist case quieted down. As a matter of fact, it did quiet down while they lived in that house. And it could just be that at that one point, the two girls were resonating as a perfect crystal radio, and they were helping to amp up that activity that was taking place there. That's another story where it's real easy to dismiss it and smartly wave your hand and say, it's two little kids playing games. Mark Lanou in the chat room brings up the fact there are little kids who can bark out like death metal songs in that grainy voice for an entire song. What expert says that the vocal cord shouldn't do that? I think any of us that grew up watching the Little Rascals remember Froggy, and the voice Froggy spoke in is basically what Bill Wilkinson sounded like, right? It was, I'm going to come to your house. So could it be sustained for long periods? How old are you? Very old. But it was interesting because the voices, the girl that was emanating from the girl did have that sound. There were times, and there are clips on YouTube where they're being interviewed, and you could see that the two sisters are definitely hamming it up a little bit. And one of them makes a comment and does the voice, and the other one gives her the look like, don't do that, like you're going to ruin this thing for us. But the story is that Maurice Grosse and Guy Lyon Playfair, they actually did things where they put like tape over her mouth, or they would have her take a mouthful of water and put tape over her mouth, and you would still hear the voice coming from her. So that takes it out. Now, does that mean that they didn't fake some things? Sure. I think it could, because you're two little kids and suddenly you got the attention of the world. Celebrities, musical celebrities, TV celebrities, sports celebrities from around the world came to visit the Enfield home. You had famous investigators that came and checked out the Enfield home. So that was a lot of attention on a family that was not very well off financially, and they were being given gifts and meals. So I could see there being this fine line between there was reality there and there was some fantasy in play. You've seen enough of this stuff too, Greg, right? And where do you weigh in on the Enfield case?
Well, we've been to together. We've been to London several times. I've been to London multiple times before and after that.
And you're right. They get so mad when we're looking in the windows.
I know. It's just like, what? And I bring my mythical meats also whenever I go, because you got to have a little snack.
Right.
I got the Dungeons and Dragons bag here.
How is it? Is it delicious?
It is delicious. It's been interesting that there's all kinds of different flavors here. Everything from elk to
venison,
chicken, all kinds of stuff, beef. It's got all kinds of stuff in there. It's delicious.
And let me just personally thank you for finally getting on the bandwagon about Mythical Meats 2 weeks after they stopped advertising on our show.
I was wondering what happened. I'm like, I finally got my bag of Mythical Meats ready to open it up. And what's going on?
Anyway, let's go back to Enfield.
Yeah.
We've been there multiple times, Greg. Let's get back on the ADD Express here and finish that thought process.
Yeah, it was good. So it seems to me that whether it's people are more in tune and they go someplace and things happen, like right. I'll go someplace and absolutely zero will happen. And I have friends of mine that go and it goes absolutely bonkers, right? So is it the person that is perceiving what's happening? Is it the person's proximity to the event or to the phenomena? That
is it the intention? Is it the mood? Is it the vibe? Like, it could be so many factors.
It is. Yeah. Thank you for saving me, T.
You're welcome.
I like it. T, did you have anything you wanted to weigh in on with the Enfield poltergeist case?
Just an agreement. Like, children, they don't know that they shouldn't be lying when people want cold, hard facts. They're going to be like, oh, people are excited about what's going on. Maybe I'll sprinkle a little fun in here and I'll get more attention. Who knows?
Right.
I don't doubt that there was a really legitimate story here, but I also don't doubt that kids are kids, so it's fine. As I have stated previously, children are idiots. It's fine.
Parents, please send your emails to sweetteahateskids@gmail.com. That's sweetteahateskids@gmail.com. Hey, we've got some breaking news. Jesse Limekiller from the Belvoir Winery, Oddfellows Asylum Home, drops $20 on us and says, shameless self-promotion. Come to Missouri Paracon. Watch Dave say profound things while Greg gives Texas hot sauce to everyone for a gift while losing his train of thought. Yes.
What am I going to do? What about me? I'm still here.
You can definitely watch our live stream that we
Great.
probably won't do. But Jesse is one of the people running the Missouri Paracon. It is going to be an amazing event. I'm looking forward to being a part of it. Greg will be there.
That's why I'm going.
Chachi, I think, is coming out there. I know
Really?
the Colonel can't make it, but I think you'll get to see at least me, Chachi, and the Paranormal Detective. We'll all be on hand. Yeah.
I will be there too. I will be there.
Where are you going to be?
Forget it.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll make it, Sweet Tea. I don't know. I mean, start collecting those aluminum cans and those glass bottles, recycling. You might get in. I'll see if we can work a little angle and get you a discount if it helps.
Thanks. That's good.
Yeah. Are you going to bring your friend Jenny?
Of course I am.
Oh, that's great. So the girls from the Monster Lounge may be there. You can, as a matter of fact, if you want to go there and you see them holding up cardboard signs that say, "We will go in for food," just bring them in, get them some snacks, popcorn, sodas, and let them watch us do
What
our talk.
exactly does go in mean?
Go into the convention.
Okay. Like we're going to give people food if they let us in? That doesn't make sense, Dave.
They will. You'll eat food if they take you in and buy it. So it's like
Yeah,
they're
that doesn't
paying you
make
to eat
sense.
with you. It's kind of a thing.
We're trying to help you, T.
Wow.
You're not, though, at all.
Yeah. Wow.
Trying to help.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. You're really helping me out.
Oh, Bonsai Warrior, I can't place that comment up on the page, although I'm positive Sweet Tea would completely agree with you that I am a bit of a dick. I just don't think that should spring up on the screen right now.
Oh, you can say it, though. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Bonsai finally figured. Yeah, Dave is so mean.
Thank you.
Whatever. Yeah. Sweet Tea,
Yeah, what's up?
we're going to yield the floor to you.
All right. Did you guys know that
Yeah, that
I
was
did
great.
not.
That was my favorite part.
Oh, that was pretty impressive.
all royal residences are haunted? Documentary claims. It seems that being a royal isn't just about castles, crowns, and corgis. It might also mean living with ghosts. A recent Amazon Prime documentary, The King of UFOs, has boldly claimed that all British residences. That's right. Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, and even Sandringham might have spectral roommates. You guys,
What
the
was that
documentary
word?
suggests Sandringham. The documentary suggests that
What
members
is
of the
happening?
royal family, including Queen Elizabeth II and King Charles, have experienced ghostly encounters over the years. One of the most famous apparitions reportedly haunts Windsor Castle. King Henry VIII himself, limping noisily down hallways with heavy footsteps. Queen Elizabeth I is said to appear as well, her form shimmering in the royal library. Even the grounds of Sandringham are rumored to be stalked by the spirits of long gone royals and staff.
Did you just stifle a wine burp? Is that what we just witnessed there?
Yeah, that was what that was. It wasn't a word. But perhaps the spookiest claim is that the royals themselves have made peace with these spirits, choosing to coexist rather than exorcise them. They live with their ghosts, says one commentator of the documentary. Back to you, Dave. That's so weird. Like, why is that the spookiest claim? That's not spooky. You are living in a place with people. That's fine.
You
love
know,
that you say back to you, Dave, and then continue talking. So that was
that's great.
that's
I loved it.
confusing. Yeah, it really.
Oh,
That's
I
transition.
just figured that was a sign off, but I don't want to sign off, so I'm going to keep going. It's
That was
fine.
called a segue, Dave.
Is it?
Yeah, it was a segue. Hey, I got to say, Lynn comes up with some really good ideas.
And
Let's
for
hear
people
one.
that don't know who Lynn is, it is Greg's imaginary Canadian wife.
Yeah.
She's from
And-
Canada. I won't know her then.
Yeah.
She comes up with these really cool ideas, and she is like, she'll just turn and go, "Hey, by the way, we're doing this." And I'm like, "Oh, what?" So she did that to me one time and said, "Hey, by the way, we're having tea at Buckingham Palace."
Mm.
Oh,
I could have bought a reasonably priced car or a really nice motorcycle
I was gonna say I didn't know you guys were that rich.
But instead, I ate liverwurst sandwiches and goop and
Goop?
like black pudding or something at Buckingham Palace.
Blood
It was
pudding?
disgustingly horrible.
British?
Oh my God.
Did your
But
Canadian wife wear little white gloves while she sipped tea?
Oh yeah, we did the whole thing, man. The royals are like walking around in the palace and stuff. And I gotta say, man, it was cool. The food was horrible. It was something
They're kind of famous for it.
I would have never thought to do, but I and my behavior modification unit had tea in Buckingham Palace, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, it was a great show tonight. It was good seeing everybody.
What Greg's not telling you is he didn't actually pay to go into Buckingham Palace to have tea. They just snuck in, started drinking tea. They got arrested. The bail money is what cost them so much.
Oh, that makes so much more sense.
For him and his wife. Yeah.
Okay. I need a Canadian husband to take me on these adventures. Do you guys know anybody?
Well, I think I do. I think I know just the Canadian you need, the prickly prick. He believes himself to be Canadian and has the same dry wit and humor that you do, Sweet Tea. So you two will make lovely, sarcastic Canadian American children together.
I believe that Jesse from Missouri Paracon would really enjoy tea at Buckingham Palace. I believe he could get in there.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure, but he'll actually be invited, Greg. That's
right.
That's the difference, right?
Yeah.
So let's dive into yet another story that I think is pretty compelling and interesting, and something that I know a little something about. Let's dive into one of the strangest courtroom cases in American history. The infamous "The Devil Made Me Do It" case back in 1981. Anne Cheyenne Johnson stood accused of murder in Connecticut. Arnie, not Anne. Arnie. Sorry, I'm blurry-eyed from so much Irish whiskey. Anyway, Arnie Cheyenne Johnson stood accused of murder in Connecticut. What made this case notorious wasn't just the crime, but the defense. Johnson claimed he was possessed by a demon at the time of the killing. Yeah, you heard that right. The devil made him do it. Now, fast forward to today. Netflix's latest documentary, if you haven't had a chance to see it, it's definitely worth watching. The Devil on Trial reopens this eerie chapter, complete with firsthand accounts and never before seen footage. The documentary offers a chilling look into the paranormal claims that were made during the trial. But here's where things take a really strange turn. One of the central figures, Carl Glatzel, whose family alleged haunting set this case in motion, drops a bombshell. He believes his mother was regularly sneaking Sominex, a sleep aid, into their food. This wasn't a one-off incident. It was allegedly a regular occurrence. Now, if you've ever taken Sominex or similar medications, you know it can cause drowsiness, confusion, and in some cases, even hallucinations. Imagine growing up with that as a side dish. Could this have played a role in the so-called possession, is what the question is being asked. Now, to some of you are saying, Dave, that's a pretty big stretch to go from being doped up and falling asleep, nodding off at the table into your mashed taters, or being possessed. But follow me on this. Medical experts have weighed in, noting that while diphenhydramine, the active ingredient in Sominex, is safe for short-term use, its long-term effects are still a bit of a mystery. Could the blurred lines between drug-induced symptoms and supernatural phenomena have been the true demon in this case? So whether you believe in the paranormal or lean towards science, one thing is clear. This trial, and now the documentary, raises more questions than it appears to give answers to. So this, I think, is fascinating because we had a recent version of this take place within the last, 10 years here during the Everybody's Getting Canceled. Roseanne Arnold, whatever her name is, she tweeted something, and it was very racist in the fact that she was talking about an African American woman and posted a picture of a gorilla, and she was in her opinion, she meant something else than what it appeared to be. And then she blamed it on the fact that she was on that sleep aid. What is that one that just
Ambien?
Yes, Ambien.
And Mark G just got I was gonna say diagnosed with Ambien. He just got a prescription for Ambien, and he's like afraid to take it. Yeah, look at him.
Yeah, well, Mark G, as your buddy Dave S, let me tell you this. It sounds like we're suddenly at Narcanonic Anonymous. I can't even say the words. Narcanon. So
here we go.
I did take Ambien over the period of a few weeks because I was really I know this is hard to believe. The king of the nighttime world sometimes has trouble falling asleep at night. I'm great during the day. If daytime sleeping ever became an Olympic sport, I would be a 3-time gold medal champion, and Sweet Tea would probably be one in the women's category. I say probably because we haven't tested the urine yet for steroids.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, I can tell you that I effectively did text people full conversations while unconscious. There were times that I went out to start my car to go to work on Saturday night at 2 a.m. because I woke up from the Ambien and realized I was going to be late for work. And 2 days early, I would go start up the car, and then it would start to kick in, and I would realize, where am I and what am I doing out here? So that's no joke. Be careful, Mark. And if you have somebody that loves you that can chain you to the bed like a werewolf, or that you don't stroll out on your own and get hit by a car. No,
Craig.
Yeah, just be cautious. Be careful.
Where was Ambien when I was in high school?
Oh, it was there. I think we used to call it Rush.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
How old are you guys?
Shut up.
As a
matter of fact, I think you're almost my age now, Sweet Tea. So
I am.
Wow.
So you have to be cautious with taking it. Have somebody around that can watch your back, because it is, it can be dangerous. Dangerous, Aunt B. Dangerous.
We need to bring some Ambien to some of these paranormal conferences.
No. People will be, oh my God.
Sleep?
Could you imagine? It's like trying to wrangle kittens when the event is during the day. If I could just see a whole hotel filled with Ambien-laden paranormal investigators.
I'm going back to my room. Goodbye. No.
Yeah, right? Oh, yep.
My ex started
Christina gets it.
Okay.
Ambien werewolf. That's what I'm telling you.
I was like, please don't take Ambien. Please don't do that. Please. It scares me. So instead, he would stay awake and take it and tell me about how crazy it was. I don't know if he was actually awake. I don't like it. Don't do Ambien, you guys. It's creepy and weird.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We got
Thank you.
So that's something to consider. I think there's really something to be said about that. If these kids were being drugged up over a long period of time with a medication that maybe, was she crushing up 5 or 6 pills to put into the taters so that it spread out? How do you know that your lump of taters didn't have more in it than somebody else? That could start having an effect and an impact on your mentality, and especially a young brain that's not fully developed. Could that cause these issues?
Yes.
I think there was enough other strange phenomena that surrounds it that still leads you to believe it's paranormal. But what if, and hear me out on this, we talk about the fact that we may be influencing our equipment, that maybe the answers we're getting on audio recorders are imprints of our own thoughts or our own expectations. If this kid's in a drug-induced haze,
the doorway is wide open.
Yeah, he could just be throwing out all kinds of PK activity that has nothing to do with actual paranormal, but just part of the normal we don't remember how to tap into anymore.
Yeah.
I like it.
Because I do know PK. I do know the PK is a real thing. Two good friends of ours, Greg, and I will introduce you to him again so that you know who I'm talking about off air. I don't know if he wants to be public about it. I would love to get him on the show. He has shown me video footage of him and his buddy working through some PK experiments where they were able to effectively push like bottle caps across the table without touching it. And they were doing multiple experiments where they were having an impact and an effect on physical things using only their minds. Now, could it be an illusion? Could they be trying to trick old Darkness Dave? Maybe. I don't think so, because both of them take the paranormal very seriously. They don't take me seriously, though. So there is that offside that maybe they're screwing with me. However, he would have had to put that in motion because he did this years ago and only just recently showed me the footage. Yeah, so it is pretty compelling. We need to take just another very short break.
What?
When we come back, we have more stories to cover right here on the Paranormal 60 News. All right, welcome back to the program. Greg, it's time for you to read again, and you don't have another shot to warm yourself up with. Where are we going now?
Yeah, but I have another beer, so here we go.
All right.
Let's head over to South Carolina. You know, I was stationed in North Carolina for a while, but let's talk a little bit about Bigfoot sightings in South Carolina. South Carolina's countryside has once again become a hotbed of Bigfoot activity. In recent reports, an anonymous law enforcement officer claimed to have spotted a large bipedal creature crossing a rural road. I hate that word. Rural road.
Why does that word exist? I don't like it.
It's hard. Rural road in Newberry County late at night. The officer described the figure as massive with long arms and a fluid gait that didn't resemble any known animal. The sighting adds to South Carolina's rich history of Bigfoot encounters, which dates back to 1964, the year I was born. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so.
Oh, no.
Many reports come from the state's densely forested areas. That would be a wooded area, including Sumter National Forest and the swamps near Charleston. Witnesses often describe a creature over 7 feet tall, covered in dark fur and emitting an unearthly odor.
Unearthly, eh?
Yeah. Unearthly. The officer's sighting has sparked renewed interest in the area, with Bigfoot enthusiasts organizing expeditions to search for evidence. Some of these reports, they have, oh my God, that's as far as I got. All right.
Wait, did you just end the story prematurely?
No. Some reports of hearing unusual howls and wood knocking sounds believed to be a form of communication among Sasquatch. Is it Sasquatches or Sasquatch like octopi? Or
it's Sasquatches. What are you talking about?
All right.
Are you not familiar with the English language? Let's keep going.
I'm sorry. The rules bend quite a bit in English. Interestingly, South Carolina has its own local variation of Bigfoot lore known as the Lizard Man. Look at this shirt. Look. That's right.
Nice. Yeah, that's
Lizard
good for all the
Man.
listeners on the radio. Well played.
Yeah, they don't care. In part of the state, this creature often described as a cross between Bigfoot and a reptilian being. While skeptics attribute these sightings to bears and hoaxes, the sheer volume of the report suggests that there's something unusual going on in the Palmetto State's wildlands. For those brave enough to venture into the forest at night, the question remains, are we chasing a myth, or is Bigfoot just better at hiding than we give him credit for? Either way, South Carolina's Sasquatch story continues to grow as elusive and fascinating as the creature itself. Back to you, Dave.
Alonzo asks, or states, I should say, that's one sexy Greg Lizard Lawson.
Yeah. Hey, where did that song go? You said you were going to send me that.
And bizarre or not, the Bonsai Warrior says, Greg is drunk, go home.
Why do I got to go home? I'm at home.
No, he's talking to everybody else.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We have to go
buddy.
home.
Sorry, buddy.
Hey, not to be outdone, the Queen of the Monster World has a story about Bigfoot as well.
Oh, is Jenny here?
No, that's you. You're the Monsters Lounge girl.
All right. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Because you know what? An Ohio hunter reports Bigfoot sighting. Bigfoot has once again stepped, or maybe stomped, into the spotlight, this time in the dense woods of Mansfield, Ohio. Hunter Andrew Baum shared a hair-raising encounter that took place on December 28, 2024, while he was perched in his tree stand. Baum described seeing a tall, dark, bipedal figure moving across a field with what he called fast, big steps. According to Baum, the creature was unlike anything he'd seen before in his years of hunting. Its movements were purposeful and swift, making him question if it could truly be human. What's more, the area is part of Washington Township, a region steeped in Bigfoot lore. Numerous similar sightings have been reported over the years, lending credibility to Baum's claim among believers. The Ohio Grassman, a local name for Bigfoot in the state, has been a recurring figure in regional folklore. The creature is said to inhabit Ohio's dense forest and swampy areas, often leaving behind massive footprints and strange howls. Baum's sightings has reignited interest in the legend, with cryptozoologists already planning to investigate the area for evidence. Whether skeptics believe it or not, Baum is certain of what he saw. As he put it, I know these woods, and I've seen deer, bear, and even coyotes or coyotes. I don't know which one it is. This was something different and something I'll never forget. Back to you, Dave.
Listeners are wondering if there's any chance you're related to Christopher Walken in the way
a little
that you
bit, a little bit of soup.
Yeah. Let's see here. Jesse says, I feel we could make an entire show just about the process where Sweet Tea decides which outfit to wear on the Paranormal 60. Yeah.
I gotta tell these.
Mandy wants to know, Dave, where's your green sweater? It was giving nostalgic vibes, and I loved it. Mandy,
what happened?
It's toasty down here. I have the little heater fan going, and I can't lean over and turn it off during the show. So the one thing I could take off was my sweater. So I peeled it off.
Wow.
Yeah. But I think Sweet Tea and Jenny bought that for me. Let me show you guys. It's pretty amazing. It is. This is my birthday gift. They bought me a Godzilla fancy Harvard sweater, as I call it, because it's got the big loopy collar. I feel very Harvidian. Is that the word, Harvidian?
Pretty sure. I have no idea what word that you are trying to think of, but yes.
But Dave, you lost so much weight, Bonsai Warrior says. I know, Bonsai. That's why I get cold quick. That's why I need the little heater fan on. But because of my recent medical issues, I've been on the prednisone, and you can see I'm getting my moon face back, and I'm growing hair at an exponential rate out of my ears and nose. Yeah, it's just the steroids are not good. If you don't have to take them, don't take them. Don't take them. Dave mad, Dave smash. All right.
All right.
Nessie's back in the news.
Let's do it.
I think this one's gonna interest you specifically, Greg. That's why I wanted to make sure we covered this. The Loch Ness Monster has captivated imaginations. The Loch Ness Monster. You heard me. I'm using my Irish brogue for the story. The Loch Ness Monster has captivated imaginations for nearly a century. And one of the most iconic pieces of evidence in Nessie lore is known as the famous surgeon's photograph. And it owes its second life to a curious pharmacist with a keen eye for history. Bill McEwen, the man who rediscovered the original photographic plates of the image in the 1980s, passed away recently at the tender age of 85, leaving behind a remarkable legacy tied to one of the world's most enduring mysteries. Now, for those unfamiliar with the surgeon's photograph, it was taken in 1934 by Robert Kenneth Wilson, a London physician, and it remains one of the most recognized images of the Loch Ness Monster. The photograph shows a long-necked creature rising up out of the water, its silhouette reminiscent of a prehistoric plesiosaur, while later debunked as a hoax involving a toy submarine and some clever staging. The photo has become synonymous with the Nessie mythos.
The what?
The Nessie mythos. That's what I said.
That's my favorite. I love it.
I'm tripping into a little Cindy Brady here as I continue to put down the Irish whiskey.
They should have a Nessie mythical meats here.
Here we go. All right.
Let's do this, Dave. You're a
While
professional.
later debunked as a hoax involving a toy submarine and some clever staging, the photo has become synonymous with the Nessie.
Wee.
You try to say with
just me.
Bailey's.
try to say with the Nessie mythos. Just try it.
Bailey's.
No,
right?
why would I do that? That
It's
would be a
Irish.
fail
Why
on
would
my part.
Irish whiskey humiliate me this way?
That
Because
your
Irish
ambient-
what?
Because I'm reading
What
about
are you
Scotland.
saying? You sound
Yeah.
like a crazy person.
At the time, McEwen's rediscovery of the original glass photographic plates decades later gave the world a rare opportunity to analyze the image using modern tools, reigniting the debate over whether it was a fabrication or, in fact, he captured a photo of Nessie. In the early 1980s, while clearing out a dusty storage cupboard in the basement of William Ogston's chemist shop in Inverness, McEwen stumbled upon the plates. The chemist had long been involved in developing photographs, and the plates had been stored there for years, forgotten until McEwen's serendipitous find. I can say serendipitous find just fine.
That's really good.
At the time, McEwen had no idea of their significance to the Nessie mythos. But once the plates were examined, it became clear that they were directly tied to the original image that had sparked decades of speculation and research. Speculation, you heard me. The rediscovery added layers of intrigue to the already mysterious story of Nessie. Experts pored over the plates, analyzing them for inconsistencies, while enthusiasts celebrated the renewed interest in the monster's legend. McEwen couldn't...
I'm sorry, what?
McEwen's find couldn't have come at a better time. He's a poet and didn't even know it. During the 80s, interest in the Loch Ness Monster was surging, while researchers conducting sonar scans of the Loch and international media international.
Wow.
You're my favorite.
You are a professional.
Good thing this show is not live. Oh, Crystal says, say it 10 times fast, Dave. I can't say it 1 time slow, Crystal. I don't know that I'm going to make my way through this. Oh, yeah. Deb has it. She understands my plight. Bailey's words is hard. So hard.
I'm going to
Oh
polish
my
up
God.
this bottle tonight.
Holy
I don't know.
cow. All right. Anyway, McEwen's find couldn't have come at a better time. During the 1980s, interest in the Loch Ness Monster was surging, with researchers conducting sonar scans of the Loch and international media covering the Nessie phenomenon. The rediscovery of the plates gave Nessie's story fresh momentum, making McEwen a beloved figure among Loch Ness enthusiasts. While skeptics often point out the surgeon's photograph debunking, believers argue that its place in Nessie lore is as much about its cultural impact as its authenticity. It inspired countless expeditions, scientific studies, and even tourism to the area, with the Loch Ness Monster becoming a global symbol of Scotland's natural beauty and its mysteries.
Is Nessie moist? Prickly Prick wants to know.
Oh my God. That story is the longest I've ever read a story. Oh God. I didn't realize there's a second page to it.
Hey,
Earl McEwen's rediscovery served as a reminder that even the simplest acts, like reading this story, cleaning out a cupboard, for instance, can uncover pieces of history that reignite global curiosity. Though McEwen has passed on, his contribution to Nessie's enduring legend ensures his name will always be tied to the creature lurking in the depths of Loch Ness, or at least in the depths of our imaginations. Back to you, Greg.
That's fantastic, Dave. Thanks a lot. That was really good. Very well read. And you are a true professional.
I should not have taken the Ambien before starting tonight's show. I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Dave.
I
don't know if I
the
passed out for a
Amityville
second.
horror.
Yeah, the Ambien horror.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. I don't know if I passed out for a second or not, but what are on the plates? They just kept talking about the plates.
They're glass plates, the old
No,
photographic.
I know what
glass
plates are, but what was on them?
Well, it was a lot like this, only it was like a dinosaur head in the water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're
I don't
saying
know why
is
Lena Litinois is saying use magnesium lotion on your feet. Does that help me instead of the Bailey? Should I just be using magnesium lotion on my feet?
Help you read.
Oh, David Bancroft says my family lives above the loch, and yes, seen it many times.
Of course you have, because
Thank you,
it's
David
there.
Bancroft.
David Bancroft, man. Last time we were in Scotland was fantastic, and
Oh boy, here we
I
go.
would love to dive that loch.
Jesse would like to know, does this show have an endpoint? Asking
No.
for a friend on Ambien.
No, we're
Yeah,
gonna
we
move
got
on.
like a good 12 more stories.
The upside is we
Buckle
only have
up.
2 stories left.
Oh,
And
good.
Oh.
Good,
Now
good,
they are in the capable hands of the non-Ambien taking
Oh.
Greg Lawson and
So
Sweet Tea.
sorry.
Greg,
Apologies in advance. What?
I will let you guys choose. I have 10 fingers, count them, 10.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to pick a number between 1 and 10, and whoever is closest gets to be the next
7.
person to read their story.
7.
Greg,
I
let's
think
start with
7.
you.
How about we just go with the script? That
Greg,
Shut
how
up,
about you
Greg.
choose a
7.
number, Greg?
4.
Oh, right on the button.
Oh, see what I tell
You
you.
get to read
Oh,
it.
I
All
have
right.
fingers too. Oh.
No, I mean, we have all these meetings and everything with a core meeting and all that stuff, and
Yeah, we do.
like, all right,
Came
stick
over
with
Yeah,
your
and you
persona.
always show up late.
You're always reminding us, stick with your persona. Remember what your
Right.
what
And
your
you're like,
skill set
oh,
is.
I don't like personas are dumb. And we're like, no, just stick with it. And you're like, ugh. We're like, ugh. It's
So,
a lot of that.
as
Hi,
you know,
Enfield, Connecticut haunting. All right, go ahead, please.
As you know, Dave, I was featured in several newspapers about being a solar system ambassador for NASA, which
That's news to
I
me.
have relinquished my authority there for this year. But former NASA astronaut, harrowing encounter with unidentified metallic orbs. Yeah, I want to share this one with you.
Oh, I like
Please.
those orbs. Those are
Yeah.
fun.
The skies over Texas recently became the setting for a chilling and unexplainable encounter as former NASA astronaut Dr. Leroy Chow found himself face to face with what can only be described as a pair of UFOs. That would be unidentified flying objects for those of
thank
you
you.
who are not
Thank you.
privy to these acronyms. Wow. Piloting his private plane at an altitude of 9,000 feet, Chow noticed 2 metallic orbs rapidly approaching his aircraft. He described them as perfectly smooth with a polished surface reflecting the sunlight and eerily devoid of any visible propulsion system, no wings, no exhaust, and no sound. Moving at speeds estimating between an amazing 100 to 150 miles an hour. The objects closed the gap in seconds, passing within just 20 feet of his aircraft. I've spent my career studying physics of space travel and aeronautics, but this was something else, Chow said in a statement following the encounter. The near miss was so alarming that Chow, a seasoned pilot and one of the few humans, right?
Yeah.
That is
That's
the word.
what people are.
How do you say that?
HUMANS. Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
a sudden, humans is humans. Yeah, it doesn't sound right to me. Something happened in my brain.
The Ambien is kicking in,
I
sweetie.
might be having a stroke right now. That doesn't
Listen,
sound
we're
right.
all humans. It's fine. Just
Right.
keep going.
The few humans to have.
Wait a minute. Are you Quark from Star Trek? Are you a Ferengi?
That one. Yes.
Humans.
I'm a female. You guys keep going.
We won't go there. Humans to have he has logged over 220 days in space, man, admitting he had no rational explanation for what he had witnessed. Chow's credentials add a unique weight to the story as an astronaut who has commanded the International Space Station and completed multiple spacewalks. His expertise makes it difficult to dismiss this as a mere misidentification or optical illusion. The close encounter also raises concerns about aviation safety. What if they had been just a few feet closer? Chow asked. It's not just about the mystery, it's about danger. For now, the incident remains unexplained, joining the growing list of UAPs sightings that challenge our understanding of the skies. Whether these orbs are the product of advanced human technology, otherworldly visitors, or something entirely different, one thing is perfectly clear. They've got even the most experienced eyes in the skies baffled. And it makes sense to me. Back to you, Dave.
Hey, let's take just a moment to mention the Missouri Paracon coming up February 28th through March 1st, 2025 at the Ameristar Casino and Hotel in Kansas City, Missouri. That's right. Dave Schrader will be there. Greg Lawson will be there. Chachi's going to be there. And I have it on good authority that there will be 2 gate crashers that go by the name Sweet Tea and Jenny Monroe from the Monsters Lounge that will also be on hand. But don't worry, there will be actual people you want to see there as well. So please make your way out to the Missouri Paracon, February 28th through March 1st at the Ameristar Casino and Hotel, Kansas City, Missouri. For more information, you can go to darknessevents.com. That's darknessevents.com. Scroll down and you'll see all of the events I'll be a part of this year. But the Missouri Paracon should be the replacement for the Michigan Paracon as the next best thing to go visit in this new and developing nation of ours. Thank you. Sweet Tea, you have the final story tonight.
Hey, wait. Are you going to just pretend like I didn't just read a story?
Yes,
we were trying to.
But I was going to say that you are so much nicer, Greg, than Dave.
Thank you.
Like,
well, your cowlick looks really good tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I've been working on it. I
You
tried
did really
to
good.
make it go really high, and I think I did my best.
Sure.
Yeah, you did good.
Thanks. Let me find the story. Hey, you guys.
People did notice real quickly, Greg, that during the reading of your story, you slowly went from pink to a more purple hue.
That's 'cause I kept talking and I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
Oh, you should breathe.
Look at me. I need to put some makeup on or something before. Look at me. I'm
you
like a
need better
pink
lights.
man.
No, you know what? Just
This is the way I look.
people love Grimace
the way I
Greg. It's
look.
fine. It's fine.
It's just the way I look.
We love you, Greg. It's
Thank
fine.
you.
You're
doing a fantastic
Hey, communications from beyond the grave.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever felt like a loved one who's passed on was trying to send you a message? Listen, I have a feeling this one's going to be rough because I've been drinking a lot. If so, you're not alone. A fascinating study from the UK explores what's known as after-death communications, ADCs. It's turning skeptics into believers. Researchers have found that a significant number of people report experiencing some form of contact with deceased relatives. These encounters include physical sensations, like a comforting touch, audible message, which is not physical.
What kind of message? I don't know.
Audible. Sudden sense associated with the departed, and vivid dreams where the person feels like they're truly speaking with their loved one. One remarkable case involves a woman who claims she felt her late mother pat her hand during a moment of grief.
What?
It's hard. I don't know. Don't ask. Another man reported smelling his grandfather's signature cigar smoke out of nowhere, despite no one in the house being a smoker. Skeptics might brush off these coincidences, but okay, let me start that again. Skeptics might brush these off as coincidences, but for those experiencing them, oh God, Jesus, listen, this is your fault. This is not my fault. They feel like undeniable connections to the other side. The study highlights how these experiences, whether supernatural or psychological, play a crucial role in helping people process grief and find closure. Is it proof of life after death or just the mind's way of healing? Either way, the stories are enough to send a shiver or perhaps a little comfort down your spine. And before I throw it back, how do you send a little bit of comfort down your spine? That's weird, but back to you, Dave. I'm sorry.
Hashtag Grimace Greg. I do like that.
What? What'd I do?
Yeah. Hashtag Grimace Greg. That's the new hashtag. Everybody's, all the kids are talking about it. Yeah. Yeah.
As long as I'm not talking about what I just did.
Dawn Marie says, tonight's show proves drinking and reading don't work, but it's great for laughs. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It wasn't my fault.
No, of all the people I know, it is definitely your fault.
That's
definitely
true.
your fault.
I'm sorry.
But it's a delight to be here with you guys. Now, I am going to mention that should everybody please, I've got a crazy schedule coming up. I'm going to be filming a lot, which is exciting. We just filmed 2 episodes of the new show Paranormal Mysteries with Shane Pittman and Cindy Kaza. That show will be out this fall on Stream Beacon TV. We have 2 more episodes to film this month. I'm also filming a paranormal documentary, and I'm going to be going on the Jericho cruise and on a trip to Mexico. So it's going to be a lot of jumping around. I'm going to do my best to have a live show every Monday night with you and Wednesday night. When I can, I will pre-record, so there's always a new episode up for you. If for some reason flights are delayed, timing's bad, I will do Wednesday, Friday nights. So if you don't get to see a brand new show on Monday night and you tune in Tuesday to go watch the Monday show and it's not there, it'll be there Friday. We will put in a new show for you. So I will do my best to always have 2 episodes up, Monday and Wednesday or Wednesday and Friday. That's the best I can do for you. I hope you understand and you're willing to go along this ride with me as long as we possibly can, and as drunk as we all seem to be getting. So
it's fine.
Exciting times. Times.
I miss our consistency, Dave.
I do too. Trust me, buddy. If travel was not such a huge thing and the holidays got all mucked up in there, but listen, it's good because that means I'm out. I'm hitting the road. I'm getting to meet people. I get to shake babies and kiss hands.
Oh, I don't think that how that goes. What?
No?
Yes.
Am I supposed to be kissing babies' hands and shaking people?
Yes.
Perfect. I got it now. Nailed it. Yeah, so that's it for tonight's look at all things strange and supernatural. It's always a pleasure working with you 2 professionals. I can't think. What?
Orphica says, I have subscribed to other channels. Like how great things.
Damn it.
That is fair. And also
lost one.
Oh God. Well, you know, we've had fun. That's the important thing. Greg, a pleasure. Sweet Tea, thank you as always for being a part of the program. And that's a wrap for tonight's Paranormal 60 News, my friends. From haunted houses to mysterious forests, ancient locks to the unexplainable skies. We've covered the weird, the wild, the drunk, the downright spooky, all with the help of the least sober news crew in the biz, Sweet Tea and Greg. I'm Dave Schrader, reminding you to keep an eye on the shadows and one ear to the unknown. This has been the Paranormal 60 News. Good night, and we'll see you again next time, if you dare.
Wednesday night and I'm alone. The Paranormal 60's on. It's just for paranormal freaks like me, with poltergeists and ghosts and blues and UAVs. You miss a word, you do a shot. It starts to snowball and we laugh a lot. It's just like drinking with your TV friends. I'll be passed out before tonight's show ends. Dreaming the aliens are taking me away. I'll go wake up for sometime late on Saturday. It's Wednesday night and I'm alone. The Paranormal 60's on. Schrader's on. Schrader's on. Schrader's on. Sweet Tea, Hachi and the Colonel and the Paranormal Detective. All we traders copy and they all will be corrected. He's got protective bracelets and some crazy magic tricks. Even Scully cannot save him from the voice of Stevie Nicks. Schrader's on. Schrader's on. Wednesday night, don't be alone. The Paranormal 60's on. Now one day Dave might even put me on the show. There's a ghost in my mom's basement, man, I live down there, I know. It's Wednesday night, don't be alone. The Paranormal 60's on.